Good morning. Good morning. Jam-packed news day today. Good morning. All right. We have a jam-packed news day. Got the BAFTA Game Awards, BAFTA Games Awards, uh, at 11. So we're gonna watch that. But just got a lot of interesting news happening. AI news, self-driving car news, space news. And there's been a lot of like research reports come out. We got the Stanford AI research report, State of AI. It's like 400 pages. Probably not gonna go through the whole thing, but tomorrow we're gonna do that on stream. In an evening stream, we're gonna do it probably around 6. We also got the Newzoo, who does like games market research. They released the PC and console games report for 2025, so we'll do that this week sometime. Yeah, let's just get into it. We're pretty just gonna do news until 11, and then we'll watch the Game Awards at 11, and might do something after, might not. So, cool, chill day. Okay, so I kind of haven't really covered space that much in the past few weeks. But back at it. Want to make it more of a routine to cover it, and this looks cool. So there's actually they actually down here have some good related articles, but there's been nuclear power is a great resource and tool technology to have, like as we're now exploring more of the cosmos, exploring more of our solar system. In space, things, you're very limited on the amount of stuff you could bring with you. And I think a good comparison in a way is a submarine. In some comparisons, just in the sense that you're in a metal tube and nothing could get down to you and you to it, essentially. if you do, you die. But in that sense, they have some similarities. Nuclear submarines exist and are powered off of a tiny, essentially lump of nuclear material. I think it varies, but that could power the entire submarine for years on end. And they have ways to recycle oxygen. They never have to essentially surface. Spacecrafts are very similar in that sense, and when it comes to nuclear power, it seems like a great resource to use. A lot of rovers, I think the Mars rovers, they're nuclear powered. They have like a little tiny piece of whatever, like plutonium, or I think it's plutonium, and that's how they're powered. Spacecrafts are, seems like it'd be a great use for that. We do have solar. Solar is great in space because we're not protected by the atmosphere. It's a lot more direct, and so you could get a lot more energy from the sun. But that, it's circumstantial. You have to be on certain sides of the of the planet. The sun has to be facing you, etc. So that brings complications. So it makes sense that nuclear power would come to space, and it's surprised it's taken this long. I imagine that with humans that there's some other safety considerations, especially considering how much radiation you're actually getting in space on top of that. So it's like, yeah, okay, anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Let's actually read the article. So space nuclear power poised for breakthroughs if NASA and DoD stay committed. Space nuclear power and propulsion technologies are poised for a breakthrough after decades of development, but need consistent government investment to transition to operation systems, according to L3Harris executives. Okay. I haven't said the military-industrial complex in a while, but military-industrial complex, obviously they're going to say they need more funding. They actually probably do. If we're being honest, this probably does need research money and blah, blah, blah. But the fact that it's coming from the military-industrial complex sometimes thwarts it. It dampens the ask. Bro, yes, you're dependent on this money to make a profit. But yeah. Now, L3Harris, bro, the names sometimes are just getting so confusing. It's there's so many fucking mergers and shit. Yeah, they're the 6th largest defense contractor. I don't know exactly what they. Yeah, okay, they do own Aerojet Rocketdyne. Actually, my grandma used to work for Aerojet, actually, way back. So this is probably how, and they make rocket engines and shit. So I imagine it's some sort of fusion powered or ion or whatever rocket engine for nuclear power. It's probably it's kind of probably low power. It's like a vacuum engine, I imagine. It's probably low power, but constant. And so it probably takes a long time to accelerate, but it's potentially free, probably super light. I'm just thinking about Kerbal Space Program. Okay, we are finally at the cusp for both nuclear electric propulsion, okay, and nuclear thermal propulsion. So this is specifically for propulsion. Said Kristen Houston, president of Space Propulsion and Power Systems at L3Harris Technologies. These solutions can be matured and be ready for flight in the next 5 years. That's pretty soon, but I think I would have thought that we were doing research already to have that a little sooner. But Houston leads in the business unit absorbed from L3Harris's acquisition of Aerojet Rocketdyne, a longtime supplier of space nuclear propulsion systems to NASA. Several NASA programs are harnessing innovation in space nuclear technology, Houston noted. L3Harris is supplying the multi-mission radioisotope thermoelectric generator for NASA's Dragonfly mission to Titan, the largest moon of Saturn. scheduled for launch in July 2028 and arrival in 2034. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, let's look at this radio isotope thermoelectric generator. Thing. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, there's like little fucking pellets or some shit. Yeah, okay. RTG. Yeah, RTG. I remember that. I know that from Astroneer. RTG. Okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about though. I'm pretty sure like what um rovers and shit use. They use like a little fucking pellet like this. New Horizons. Yeah, interesting. Okay. RTG. Yeah, so the RTGs have existed, I guess. The industry is also closely monitoring NASA's fission, not fusion, surface power program, which aims to develop nuclear power systems for lunar and Mars surface operations. And these are like great use cases because they're not around humans, so it's like you don't have to like consider. I mean, until launching, but when they're on like Mars and other planets, it's like who? I mean, not who cares, but like kind of who cares, you know? It's not like they're around humans to like cause radiation, and it's not like these environments are have life, so you know it's not like there's any like thing to kill necessarily, I guess. Any environmental considerations until humans get there someday, if we do. Yeah, for lunar and surface operations, currently in a three-way competition, the program ensures teams from Westinghouse with L3 Harris, Lockheed Martin, and X Energy. Westinghouse is a huge, like, I think they're the largest nuclear plant, like, operator or some shit. Like, they're big in nuclear power. Yeah. AP100. Are they public? No. I would hope a nuclear power company is not public, actually. So that's who L3 Harris is working with, and then Lockheed Martin and X Energy. I don't know if we've seen of X Energy. I don't think I've heard of them. Advanced nuclear energy to empower Earth. Hmm. Okay, so they have two reactors. Oh, they're doing the small modular reactor. Okay, okay. So they're going the SMR route, which this is perfect. I don't know how big, they are, but I mean, when we're talking like space systems, small modular reactors seem like they would fit but best with like a space system just because of the size. A second phase is expected to start later this year. Houston said the program targets systems capable of providing 40 kilowatts. That's actually not even that much. I know like RTGs are smaller, but 40 kilowatts, enough to power about 30 households continuously for a decade. I mean, when you put it like that, it sounds like a lot, but for normal, I guess like nuclear stuff, I guess it's just a tiny thing. So I mean, that is kind of impressive. And represents a crucial milestone in understanding NASA's long-term funding priorities for lunar and Mars infrastructure. How much are like usual RTGs on like space? Let's see how much. Oh, here we go. This one says 62 watts. Okay, this is like the early one. Galileo missions. This is the 80s. Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is the. I want to see like wattage or like how much power it creates. Like 60, like the fact that it could power a few households seems much more. How much energy do RTGs usually output? $100 to 125 watts. Okay, that's actually or watts. For example, RTGs used on the Voyager spacecraft initially generated about 2,400 watts, like 2.4 kilowatts, which was converted to approximately 157 watts. That seems way less, but I guess like the most spacecraft like are probably like just don't use that. They're very energy efficient. They don't probably need that much active like energy unless they're like moving. But even then, you could probably like do it very slowly. Ah, they're using joules. Come on, just use like a normal. I know that I'd say normal because that is the proper measurement. Something that like I have to convert to a to something. It was designed to provide 125 watts. That's crazy because that's actually like nothing. Like your computer can't even hardly run on that. And they're running like spacecraft on that. No, I don't know the like specifics, but still, it's crazy to think about. Okay, power generation versus propulsion. Space nuclear application often fall into two primary categories: power generation and propulsion. Yeah, up here it mainly seemed like they were talking about propulsion, but they did talk about the RTGs. In nuclear electric propulsion and nuclear thermal propulsion. For power generation, radioisotope thermoelectric generators convert heat from radioactive decay into electricity. These systems are crucial for missions traveling to deep space where solar power becomes impractical. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, but I guess I didn't even think about the further you are away from the sun too, especially like when we're going to another planet. That's probably when solar isn't really feasible. Even though we're still getting a lot more energy from, the solar in space just because we don't have the atmosphere. That is interesting to consider. That actually poses a interesting problem about how we would actually power like planetary colonies when we can't use solar for whatever reason. Like if we're using some sort of nuclear power, we would that. I guess I don't know where uranium is found, or plutonium, or whatever these nuclear fuels. Would we have to come back to Earth to refuel? So like we'd have to like be exporting like nuclear fuel from Earth. Uranium found elsewhere in space. Uranium is found in space, including on the moon and asteroids. Okay. This is 2009. Okay, so then it's found in asteroids. We just have to probably mine uranium. Unless we create some sort of new generator or like system, but regardless, unless it's renewable and doesn't, we use like the environment, it's gonna require a fuel. But that will be an interesting problem to solve once we like, hopefully by then we'll have like AI could help us find better fuel sources or like help us figure out how to renew things, and we'd have like better systems or just better research done to give us more information. But yeah, I don't know how we do that. Okay, on the propulsion side, two primary technologies are advancing. Nuclear thermal propulsion. This uses a nuclear reactor to heat a propellant, typically liquid hydrogen, which is expelled through a nozzle to generate thrust. These systems offer high thrust levels similar to chemical rockets, but with improved efficiency. Okay. To me, this sounds like like you'd use like as like a RCS system, like like to help like stabilize the aircraft, not as like the primary propulsion. I don't know, let's look it up. Bro, this thing is huge. 67. Places chemical energy of the propellants in a chemical rocket. A working fluid, usually liquid hydrogen. Dang, this looks like old tech. Like, these are not that modern. Yeah, this was started in the 50s. I'm sure the 50s was kind of like the nuclear resurgence. That's kind of like when nuclear tech was like becoming cool, I guess. Hmm. So I guess this is like a giant nuclear engine. I guess it wouldn't really make sense to have nuclear power and then not really have a large engine. Like, yeah, I guess that wouldn't make sense. NASA and DARPA announced partnership on Draco to demonstrate an NTR engine in space, enabling NASA crewed mission to Mars. Lockheed Martin had been awarded $499 million contract to assemble the experimental nuclear thermal reactor vehicle and its engine. Dang. Okay. And then we have nuclear electric propulsion. This is what where I seem like is more like new. This process converts thermal energy from a nuclear reactor to electricity as a way to power electric thrusters. This approach provides lower thrust but exceptional efficiency, making it ideal for sustainable acceleration on long duration missions. Okay, this is kind of what I mentioned in the beginning, like where it's not that much power, but because it's like just constant, it could be good for acceleration. So as long as you have something pushing you forward in space with essentially no drag, you'll theoretically always be accelerating. Safe, affordable fusion engine. 30 kilowatt, dang. Okay. National security and scientific applications. These technologies have applications beyond science and exploration, Houston said. It enhances strategic mobility by providing faster and more efficient transportation of spacecraft, enabling quicker development and repositioning of assets in space. Nuclear propulsion technologies offer significant advantages for future Mars missions, she added. Spacecraft powered by nuclear. I wish they interviewed someone else. No offense, I just don't trust their opinion considering they're asking for funding for the thing that they're talking about. Like sorry. Spacecraft powered nuclear thermal propulsions could, reach Mars in approximately half the time of chemical engines. Oh, see, that's a big selling point. Like, that's like, we're talking like months or years of time saving, which is a long time. While NEP, nuclear electric propulsion systems, could efficiently transport cargo vehicles. Yeah, and I guess with cargo, you probably want more cost efficiency versus like speed, at least initially. Think about cargo ships, they're slower, but they carry a lot more. Same with, a nuclear, or same with a base, cargo vehicle. You could use nuclear electric propulsion. It'd be less powerful, but better for sustained, like longer missions, and because it'd be more efficient. That makes sense having it for that. Although it does, I'm interested to see. I guess we could look at existing spacecraft going to other planets, but something that is underrated is slowing down in space. Because if you're constantly accelerating and you turn off the engines in space, you're going to keep going at that speed unless you receive, the opposite force. And, you're probably gonna have to turn the craft down and then start slowing down. And that slowdown is going to take a very long time too. I wonder how they're gonna do that. I know they do it already, but scaling it up, I'm just curious how it would work in much larger rockets, especially like a cargo. NASA and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, are co-sponsoring the demonstration rocket for Agile Cislunar Operations, DRACO, which is a cool name. Program to test a nuclear thermal rocket engine in space. DRACO engines exist, I swear. Because I swear SpaceX has like Draco's a gun. Yeah, they have Draco engines. SpaceX Draco is a hypergolic liquid rocket engine designed and built by SpaceX for use. Yeah, okay. The original Draco thrusters, a small rocket engine used on Dragon spacecraft. Super Draco uses the same storable, non-cryogenic hypergolic propellant as a smaller Draco. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess they just stole the name. Yeah, RCS. This is what I was talking about. Reaction Control System. They help stabilize the vehicle. Yeah, this propellant too is like fucking toxic. You could tell just by how it looks and like how they have it sealed in the glass fucking thing. They're like, yeah, bro, we can't let the fume of this get out. William Sack, Director of Advanced Space and Power Programs at L3 Harris, that demonstrations such as Draco are important to showcase the capabilities of nuclear thermal propulsion. He noted that L3 Harris has developed its own NTP vehicle concept. He had to throw that in there. We would expect to be a player in the future if NASA is going to be going forward with something like this for going to Mars or somewhere else, Sack said. Despite the promising outlook, Houston emphasized the consistent government investments and leadership are essential to deploy these technologies to help accelerate the space economy. The space economy is it's kind of another one of those things where it's kind of been teased for like a few years now, but we're not really there yet. Like there's nothing really in space. Like nothing's changed, I guess. Like we're essentially just launching things into space. We just have it be more efficient now, and the space economy is really just launch services still. And there's not really like any interaction, like I don't know how to put it, but I guess everything's happening on Earth still. There's really no like space to space products. I mean, there is like in a way, but like not in the sense that like, for the space economy. I feel like that I'm imagining in my head. But we'll get there. We'll get there. See, I think space, unlike AI, because it's more tangible, I feel like it's easier to believe. But like people are also they're selling space too, like like the these all these like space stations, like business parks in space and shit, like what Blue Origin and Sierra Space are like selling. Like those are kind of like AGI. That's kind of like people, Sam Altman saying like AI is gonna like cure cancer and shit or fix climate change. Gotta get there. I think the space station stuff though is more practical because it exists. Like China has their own space station, We have the ISS, the International Space Station. Like, we know it could be done because we've done it before. So I think that's also part of the reason why it's a little bit more believable. You could think about the steps of how to get there in your head, and you don't need someone else to tell you. Okay, this is interesting. Very, very interesting. Alright, what was the other, oh yeah, let's look at the IBM mainframe. Open already. Mainframe. It's kind of funny because I feel like the name, or like calling something a mainframe is kind of like old school. Like I just think of the 80s. And like, you know, 80s hacker movies, like, don't let him get to the mainframe. A mainframe computer, informally called mainframe or big iron. Who calls it big iron? And how long is his hair? Just kidding. Is a computer used to primarily by large organizations for critical applications. I just imagine a Guilfoyle type calling it like big iron from Silicon Valley. Or the dude, the same like Ed, who's like Guilfoyle's arch nemesis, who just like has zero personalities. Like, yeah. I don't even remember his name. That's who I picture calling it big iron. It's just a big computer, like it seems like. That's why I was like, how is this any different than just a computer or a server? It's like Nvidia is making mainframes, quote unquote, with their like big graphics card systems. Got like fiber shit coming out. Like, crazy to think this is a computer. It looks like some sort of like interesting mechanical device. I guess that's kind of what it is in a way. Classic look, yeah. Operator console. Bro, this is the memory. This is like how memory's like multiple quotient instruction counter. Crazy. So anyways, yeah, IBM released a new AI mainframe. IBM is releasing the latest version of its mainframe hardware that includes new updates meant to accelerate AI adoption. I wonder how much it costs, and I wonder how it compares to Nvidia or like the existing market. Also, this is crazy. Google's allegedly paying some AI staff to do nothing for a year rather than join rivals. Okay, the hardware and consulting company on Monday announced IBM Z17, the latest version of its mainframe computer hardware. This fully encrypted mainframe is powered by an IBM Telum 2 processor and is designed for more than 250 AI use cases, the company says, including AI agents and generative AI. Bro, it's a computer, you know? It can be used like, it's like an AI agent workload is essentially going to be almost the same as any other generative AI workload or any other server workload, be that, you know? The fact that it's like there's 250 AI use cases, it's like if it could be used from generative AI, then it has any AI use case. Mainframes might seem like an old hat, but they're used by 71% of Fortune 500 companies today, according to one source. What the fuck? Did IBM just corner the market? It's because like if you actually think about it, to the normal consumer, IBM is like a nobody company. Like they don't really have any like many consumer facing markets, or people don't really know what IBM owns. Like I was like genuinely like, what does IBM do? I know they have IBM Cloud, they make like mainframe shit, but like who's using that? Like I guess we got our answer. I always think of them as a conglomerate because of *Halt and Catch Fire*. Yeah, I mean they are a conglomerate, I guess, but like, you know, if they're like so, by the time that whatever they make gets to the consumer, it's just like so many ways off of like IBM the name that like you're just like, who, like what do they even do? I can't even. They don't even have a list. Yeah, like they had like IBM Guidance Computer Hardware and Saturn V. They have Fortran, which is like the old programming language. I don't know, they own like the fucking Weather Channel. They own like just like random shit like that. Yeah, HashiCorp, which is a big startup that maintains like open source software. $7.7 billion. Red Hat, which is they own Red Hat Linux. They're probably, yeah, I mean $34 billion they bought them for. Let's see. Rising Cloud Services, okay. The Weather Company, which owns the Weather Channel. Yeah, they own weather.com and Weather Underground. And I think that's also like the Weather Channel. Yeah, the Weather Channel. Okay. I guess less like no consumer brands, I guess. I'm trying to find one, but whatever. They own a bunch of, clearly I'm scrolling through all their acquisitions, but they're just a typical big tech conglomerate. But I guess like to any consumer, it's like they just like they're just behind the scenes. There's nothing that ends up like touching the consumer. So it's just, I guess it's interesting that there's such a large company, but consumers probably like are like, what? Who are they now? Like what? Um. So mainframes might seem like old habits. Are used by 71% of Fortune 500 companies today, according to one source. In 2024, the mainframe market was worth an estimated $5.3 billion per consulting firm Market Research Future. I mean, that's not like nothing, but like for an old product, the market's still worth 5.3 billion. Like, pretty good still, I guess. Z17 can process 450 billion inference operations in a day, a 50% increase over its predecessor, the IBM Z16, which was released in 2022, right before AI. Oh, bro, the timing of this is probably not the best. Or it was good. I guess Nvidia pretty much beat them, is the point. Reason 2022 and ran on the company's original Telum processor. The company is designed to be able to fully integrate with other hardware, software, and open source tools. Tina Tarquinio, VP of Product Management and Design for IBM Z, told TechCrunch that the mainframe upgrade has been in the works for 5 years, well before the current AI frenzy started with the release of OpenAI's ChatGPT in November 2022. Yeah, okay. This is where I was like, it was bad timing. So I guess they could have potentially changed it, but IBM spent more than 2,000 research hours getting feedback from over 100 customers as it built the Z17. She thinks it's interesting to see that now, 5 years later, the feedback they got aligned with where the market ended up heading. Probably feedback from related to AI. It has been wild knowing that we're introducing an AI accelerator and then seeing, especially in the later half of 2022, all the changes in the industry regarding AI. It's been really exciting. I think the biggest point has been that we don't know what we don't know about what's coming, right? Yeah. So the possibilities are really unlimited in terms of what AI can help us do. Yep, not wrong. Okay, the Z17 is set up to adapt and accommodate where the AI market heads. The mainframe will still support 48 IBM Spire AI accelerator chips upon release, with the plan to bring up that number up to 96 within 12 months. How many chips have IBM made? Hot Chips. At Hot Chips 2024, IBM previewed its Spire accelerator AI chip designed in collaboration with IBM Research to scale enterprise AI workloads. What is it? How does it compare, I guess? There has 32 individual accelerated cores on board and contains 25.6 billion transistors using 14 miles of wire. Produced using 5 nanometer node. Okay, so this isn't the best technology, but it's pretty new. I think we're down to like 3 nanometer at like TSMC. And each Spire is mounted on a PCIe card. Interesting. Cards have been clustered together. 8 cards that add 256 digital accelerated cords to a single system. Interesting. Yeah, I think I don't really know. I'm not like too familiar with like the PC hardware space, but like PCIe seems like it's probably it's like faster than like, you know, any USB type protocol, but PCIe still seems like kind of slow in terms of like data center speed, but maybe not. We're purposely building headroom, Tarquino says. We're purposely building in AI agility. So new models are introduced. We're making sure we built the headroom for bigger, larger models that may need more local memory to talk to each other. Yeah, and the memory is a big bottleneck. We've built in that because we know it's really the approach that will change, right? The new models will come and go. Tarquino said that one of the highlights of this latest hardware, although she joked it was like being asked to pick her favorite child, is that the Z17 is more energy efficient than its predecessors and supposedly competitors too, i.e. NVIDIA. And that could be a good selling point. Although if we're talking about inference, then obviously it's going to use less power, I guess. I mean, I guess not obviously. Yeah, because, oh yeah, this is right, yeah. Do this many inference operations? They're not really comparing it to any existing market stuff, so it's hard to know. On chip, we're increasing the AI acceleration by 7.5 times. What is AI acceleration? What does that mean? Well, that's 5.5 times less energy than you would need to do like multi-model on another type of accelerator or platform in the industry. That's like saying NVIDIA without saying NVIDIA. Z70 mainframes come generally available June 8th. Interesting. I imagine that you do want competition, you know? So I mean, like, although NVIDIA might be the best, you still want competition, so NVIDIA's like kind of at least has a fire under their, you know, butt a little bit to like lower price or make things better, besides just like people like, I guess besides the demand, you want also competition. So this is neat. I'm curious like pricing and like how it actually compares. I wonder if like semi analysis is gonna do anything on the IBM mainframe. Nothing on the mainframe. This looks interesting. This report is this looks cool, but it's really long. I might look into the robotics here. I'll bookmark it. I have a lot of market research reports that I want to go over. They're just really long right now. Very long. All right, let's look at Microsoft's AI master plan. Let's actually first read this. Also, the stock market is having a fucking good ass day today, we'll say. Bro, yesterday was a good day to buy. Started out good. Nvidia up 2%. Good day for me. Grab. American Airlines, fuck. Doing okay. Yeah, when I looked this morning, like it was doing good. Broadcom up 5%, 4.5%. Check a few hot ones. Reddit, okay, still down. Let's check Rocket Lab. Fuck, bro, they're up like 10%, I swear, this morning. Check the banks. What's like JP? I don't know what their ticker is. Banks, I think, are doing good. Oh yeah, banks are doing good. Yeah, like SCHD was up this morning by like 2% or something. It's down now. But I imagine it's probably going to be up in the morning, and then as it's up, people like will probably sell. Jeppy, bro. I actually held a lot of Jeppy for a while. Pays a 7.5% yield, like dividend, but it's taxed as income. So it pays an insane yield, but you have it's like higher taxes on it. But yeah, Mark's doing all right. What the fuck is this? And why is it up 300%? This is pharma. Bro, pharma stocks are the most insane thing because just the dynamic that's required is like they go public and then they do research and then they hope that their research or they get funding or like FDA approved and then the stock like skyrockets and like after they get it. But yeah, it's an alright day. It's volatile. It's just what do they call it? A bear market. CVS is doing good. Dang. Top losers. Wayfair. Oh yeah, these are all fucking these are all like tariff effectors. Tempest AI. I've never heard of this company. AI enabled precision medicine. With the power of AI, we now have the ability to accelerate the discovery of novel targets, predict the effectiveness of treatments, identify potential life-saving clinical trials, diagnose multiple diseases earlier. AI enabled assistant. I don't understand what they provide. So you could get like a test? Order a test. Flexible ordering options designed to fit seamlessly in your workflow. Alright. Hitachi. Saab. I think there's also a play in the stock market where to buy foreign companies that will likely benefit from the tariffs because they're gonna now have to probably produce more domestically. So just as like companies who are onshoring in the United States, there's onshoring manufacturing. There's an argument that that's going to happen in countries that have very high tariffs that we've put against them, where they're going to instead onshore their own manufacturing instead of trying to play this game with Trump. And I've said it before, like, we're kind of seeing that with the big tech in Europe, but I think that's probably why, like, places like Saab, like, they make, like, planes and shit, like, but they're overseas. The European stocks performing well amid U.S. volatility. Yeah, probably because Europe's like, have fun. Leonardo, yeah, I think this is a contract, defense contract, defense company. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. SoftBank is up. Like, SoftBank is a fucking. What has their stock been doing? Oh shit! Year to date, they're down 23%. Dang, 5 years, they're only up 17%. I mean, I think SoftBank is fucking. Masayoshi Son's a gambling man, but he's taking a lot of risk. He's taking on a lot of debt to do shit. Yeah, they raised 4.1 billion in retail bond issuance. Like, they literally have to sell bonds to get money, which makes me question literally how are they going to pay for Stargate project. I don't understand how they're going to come up with hundreds of billions of dollars when, bro, they literally had to raise $4 billion. All right. Next story. Oh yeah, AI's Microsoft AI master plan. What's Microsoft stock doing today? Up a little. Microsoft AI chief Suleiman sees advantage in building models 3 or 6 months behind. Like, no one has ever said that, like, there's an advantage in being behind, so it's like, okay. Building the largest artificial intelligence models in the world is very expensive and can be duplicative. Yeah. I feel like this is unique to Microsoft in a way too. Let's be real. Like, most other, if we think about Google, let's just use Google. Like, Google doesn't care. They want to be number one because they don't have a fucking open AI to lean on. Yeah, it makes sense for Microsoft because they just get 49% of Microsoft's revenue or OpenAI's revenue until they hit AGI. They don't need to compete in this area. Yeah. But, like, this is not normal advice. Like, OpenAI models are inside Microsoft's Copilot, which Solomon announced updates on Friday. At Microsoft Copilot, they actually updated it to do a lot of stuff. I will say it started off kind of as a flop, but they've built in all this like agent shit within Copilot, which enthusiasts might not be using, but Copilot's a good in between for like kind of normal people who aren't like in the tech space and like tech and AI, because it's just built into their work computer, their whatever, Windows computer. I don't even know. I think I have it disabled, but okay. Microsoft owns lots of NVIDIA graphics processing units, but it isn't using them to develop state-of-the-art artificial intelligence models. Actually, now that I think about it, Microsoft is in such a unique position because they've made a huge bet on OpenAI. They have their own cloud, which they could sell to customers who are making AI products or want to train or, infer models. And they're making products themselves. Because I think building AI products is kind of hard right now. And that is where, the next step is going to be. Like we're kind of figuring out the generative AI, like LLMs, like efficiency, getting incremental updates and new models, but making products out of the actual models themselves is kind of the next step that we need to do to kind of diffuse it into the market and like everything else. Microsoft is positioned in every layer of that, and to the point where they're making their own chips, even not necessarily for AI right now, but eventually they will likely have their own chip. Google is probably the next closest person to market position to Microsoft, and they also have bets. They've invested a lot in Anthropic, but that's probably just to be risk averse and just to hedge their bets, not necessarily like they're relying on that or they want to be behind. Google's arguably very far ahead of the competition. Maybe not like OpenAI and Anthropic, but like the other big tech competition, Microsoft, Amazon. Like their Gemini is definitely winning, especially in the consumer space too. But Microsoft is positioned is like almost every position in the market. I do think making products is just a lot harder right now. And I think we saw that with Microsoft initially kind of blundering with their Copilot blunder, just kind of gimmicky, I guess. But yeah, Microsoft's in a unique position. I think OpenAI is just so over Microsoft, and I think Microsoft is trying to like slow down OpenAI without like making it obvious. I just feel like it's in Microsoft's best interest to not have OpenAI like be number one. And if you think about when Microsoft probably first invested in OpenAI, the motivations were likely much different, led by the fact that OpenAI was a nonprofit, and so Microsoft was like, yeah, sure, like, cool, like, let's get this thing in. And then, Sam's like, okay, but like when we get AGI, like we want to be on our own. I'm sure like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, like throw that in, like that'll never happen, or like we'll beat you to it. And they're also a nonprofit, so like they can't even compete with us really. And then now we're getting to the point where it's like they're growing faster than they're growing their AI products faster than Microsoft's. They are their own brand, the company aside from Microsoft. Now they are building data centers that compete with Microsoft. And they're courting, their own, the governments for legislation to create regulations around AI when that's usually big tech doing it. I think Microsoft's like a little like not regrets, but I think they're a little scared of OpenAI. At least Sam Altman. I think Sam Altman's more so the person. Okay. All right. Microsoft owns a lot of NVIDIA's GPUs, but isn't using them to develop state-of-the-art artificial intelligence models. There are good reasons for that position. Mustafa Soliman, the company's CEO of AI, told CNBC Steve Kovacs, Takeshi Kovacs, in an interview on Friday. Waiting to build models that are 3 to 6 months behind offers several advantages, including lower cost and the ability to concentrate on specific use cases. Does it really matter though? Microsoft has the corner on so many areas, like you said, and they are extremely diversified. No, I think as a company it doesn't, but I think thinking about AI being like the next like computing, you know, like the next like social media, like the next internet, like thinking about it like that is how someone like Microsoft, who is diversified, would crash. Is that, you know, a non-incumbent comes in a new market that takes off much faster, and then Microsoft becomes the old sluggish. They become like an IBM type of like legacy tech, and then it's pretty much all downhill from there. I don't think like initially, yeah, I think OpenAI is that big of a threat for them from a profitability point of view. I don't think they need their own models to win the space. Profitability, no, because OpenAI doesn't make money. But I think if you believe the fact that like AI like it's kind of the next like frontier of like technology, then I think you do have to be involved in like it is a threat, like thinking like 10-20 year timeline. I don't think they need their own model to win either. I think it's going to be the products they build. You feel like involvement versus having their own model though is different. Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah. There's this actually, yeah, I think you're right, because I've said this in the past, like I guess like the models are I guess kind of a race to the bottom, like it's in terms of pricing. But I do think as a big tech company that is important for like actually like margins and actually making money. Like I can't imagine them always having to like rent a model from like another company would be like cost efficient in the long term, I guess. It's how you package it. They always just swoop in on AI companies down the road. Yeah. So I think in the startup space, there's a people are like, oh, you're just a wrapper around OpenAI. Like, you know, like you're just like, you know, so it's like anyone could reproduce what you're making because you're just a wrapper around, you know, like in OpenAI's models or Anthropic's models, whatever. But that could be said for anything. You know, it's like I think the what I said is like OpenAI will never be anything but an AI model company. Yeah, I think that is exactly the case. That's exactly the case. I don't think them spending time making products is going to be valuable because of they're just the de facto model company, and that's like unless they become this conglomerate, which realistically they don't make money. Like they're gonna have to use their their money initially very efficient to just train models and get that, you know, that market cornered. And like ChatGPT is more of like the demo for what their models, and it's just like there's going to be, you know, like Copilot and shit will take over like the kind of ChatGPT space. So as long as that they keep updating, actually adding useful products and features to things, I don't think OpenAI is going to like be that company. But I don't know. I just don't think they're going to have enough money to do what they want, and so they're going to eventually have to like focus on like a single thing, like making the models. But yeah, the wrapper thing, it's like everything is just a wrapper. Like besides an AI chatbot, what consumer level product does OpenAI have? That's it. Yeah, they don't. God damn it. I can never find the references I want. I need to start like liking or favoriting things. I found it. Thank goodness. Yeah, this was tweeted by Gary Tan, who runs Y Combinator. It's like your YC backed startup is just a GPT wrapper, like GPT-4. OpenAI is an NVIDIA wrapper. NVIDIA is a TSMC wrapper. TSMC is an ASML wrapper. ASML is a Zeiss wrapper. Zeiss is just a sand wrapper. So I do think though, like when we're talking big tech level, that the game is just a little different. Like when you're trying to get like a, you know, a few $1 million in like business and shit, like yeah, you're like SaaS, your software startup that charges, you know, like $50 a month, like this will do. But when we're competing on the global scale with other companies who have, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars at their disposal, I think it's a little different. But okay, let's actually I forgot we were even reading an article. Okay, the company CEO of AI, Microsoft CEO of AI, told CNBC's Steve Kovach in an interview Friday, waiting to build models that are 3 to 6 months behind offers several advantages, including lower cost and the ability to concentrate on specific use cases, Suleiman said. Yeah, because I guess if we're actually if you think about it now from actually making the product, like if this is what they're just focused on is actually the end product and not a model, you want the cheapest model to like that could do what you want it to do. So like this is Microsoft doesn't need fucking like frontier, you know, like GPT, you know, like O1 thinking model for someone to be like, what's a recipe for chocolate chip cookies? You know, it's like it just needs to fucking spit out something that's correct and probably that's kind of fast. And like that's really what they probably care about the most. It's cheaper to give a specific answer once you've waited for the first 3 or 6 months for the frontier to go first. Yeah, it's cheaper to give a specific answer once you waited for the first 3 or 6 months of the frontier to go first. We call that off frontier. And I think there's also something to be said in a lot of times they lower the older model prices, so it's like cheaper. Sometimes they actually raise them though. That's actually our strategy, is to really play a very tight second given the capital intensiveness of these models. Suleiman made a name for himself as co-founder of DeepMind, the AI lab that Google bought in 2014, reportedly for $400 million to $650 million, which is essentially what is DeepMind is led to Gemini and Google's like AI products. That's where all their AI stuff comes out of. Suleiman arrived at Microsoft last year alongside other employees of the startup Inflection, where he had been CEO. More than ever, Microsoft counts on relationships with other companies to grow. It gets AI models from San Francisco startup OpenAI and supplemental computing power from a newly public CoreWeave in New Jersey. Microsoft has repeatedly enriched Bing, Windows, and other products with OpenAI's latest systems for writing human-like language and generating images. I think I'm like thinking about this wrong too. When if we think about like Microsoft, just big tech in general, like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, like Meta. If we think about them like a country, it kind of think about them as a country, and they need supply chains for all of their products. And those supply chains consist of contractors or other companies that they've invested in, like OpenAI, CoreWeave. I think that better paints a picture of like like something to compare it to, or like an analogy. And then having the digital product or the software be the end, like consumer facing good. I feel like that paints a better picture of like what Microsoft's role is. Because they also like, you know, create like lower level like manufacturing, i.e. data centers. Like data centers kind of like the manufacturing. It's like where things are produced. they do that themselves, but they need supplements to it, which is like a public-private market kind of thing, you know? They could sell to themselves like they did with OpenAI with Azure, but they also need, you know, they want contractors to supplement things to fill in spaces, fill in like their gaps, like with CoreWeave. And if they're just producing an end product of software or an API or some shit, Microsoft Copilot will gain memory to retain key facts about people who repeatedly use the assistant, Suleiman said Friday in an event in Microsoft's Redmond, Washington headquarters to commemorate the company's 50th birthday. The feature came first to OpenAI's ChatGPT, which has 500 million weekly users. Through ChatGPT, people can access top flight large language models, such as the O1 reasoning model, that takes time before spitting out an answer. Also, I'm just thinking back. I'm just derailing this, but I remember I had my fucking oh fuck, I don't have Excalibur. I like had my little like AI phase thing that I made. That actually that's kind of what I'm explaining more so. I forgot I don't have that actually installed. I don't have it anymore, but anyways, okay. Disregard that. It doesn't exist. Through ChatGPT, people can access top flight large language models such as the O1 reasoning model that takes time before spitting out an answer. OpenAI introduces that capability in September. Only weeks later did Microsoft bring in a similar capability called Think Deeper to Copilot. That's such a lame name. Think Deeper. Microsoft occasionally releases open source small language models that can run on PCs. They don't require powerful server GPUs, making them different from OpenAI's O1. Yeah, it was like Phi models or some shit, which they're actually like pretty good for the amount of parameters they have for like how much memory they use. Like I was able to run them on my computer like locally, no problem. And they're pretty good. They're like llama models, I would say. OpenAI and Microsoft have held a tight relationship shortly after the startup launched its ChatGPT chatbot in late 2022, effectively kicking off the generative AI race. In total, Microsoft has invested $13.75 billion in the startup, but more recently, fissures in the relationship between the two companies have begun to show. Microsoft added OpenAI to its list of companies in July 2024, and OpenAI in January announced that it was working with rival cloud provider Oracle on the $500 billion Stargate project. That came after years of OpenAI exclusively relying on Microsoft's Azure cloud. Despite OpenAI's partnering with Oracle, Microsoft in a blog post announced that the startup had recently made a new large Azure commitment. Yeah, because, I mean, this partnership is still like it's not done. They're building it still, so I mean they're still gonna need compute. OpenAI also recently they did sign a CoreWeave project. Oh my god, CoreWeave is down. Fuck. I was just like, what is CoreWeave doing? This is almost IPO price. They IPO'd at $39. Okay. Look, it's absolutely mission critical that long term we are able to do AI self-sufficiently at Microsoft, Suleiman said. At the same time, I think about these things over 5 and 10 year periods. You know, until 2030 at least, we are deeply partnered with OpenAI, who've had an enormously successful relationship for us. Yeah. Microsoft is focused on building its own AI internally, but the company is not pushing itself to build the most cutting edge models, Suleiman said. We have an incredibly strong AI team, huge amount of compute, and it's very important to us that, you know, maybe we don't develop the absolute frontier, the best in the world first. He said that's very, very expensive to do and unnecessarily to cause that duplication. Yeah, so it seems like the duplication is with OpenAI because the fact that they could have full access to OpenAI's model catalogs and to resell them, it's like, fuck. Why they're giving us money for Azure, then why us use that money for Azure to train models that we have access to that OpenAI is using? It's like, I think it's, yeah, it's just kind of business. Which is, if you think about OpenAI only being an AI models company and not a product company, Microsoft is reaping all of the benefits of OpenAI and making the products of it, and they're not even doing the expensive part. Like, OpenAI has to train all the models, do all of that, you know, the hard work for that, and then Microsoft's like, sweet, thank you, takes it, makes a product, and sells it for money. And OpenAI's giving them money for Azure to train it. Like, what the fuck? And until OpenAI has AGI, that's how it's gonna be. When I don't even know what the AGI contract trigger, I don't know what to call it. Even like, it seems like their partnership is just like over. Like they own 49% still, but they don't get access to the models. All right. Sounds like a good deal for Microsoft. Okay, let's read this, and then the BAFTAs are coming up. We're gonna watch that at 11, and I want to look at some of the nominations and stuff. You're actually co-streaming on Twitch. Hope I get there's a chance you get put on the front page if you have the tag. Microsoft's AI master plan. Let OpenAI burn cash, then build on their success. Exactly what I just explained. Is like, that's exactly what we just read. Like, they're reaping all the benefits of OpenAI, but not actually paying the cost of it, and then they get to make products out of it, which is how you know, probably make, like, you know, turn it into, you know, it's entrepreneurship, I guess. You know, you're combining tools to, you know, technology to solve problem. Like, that's where the money's made. I also like Tobias Mann. He does have good analysis. I've read a few of his like data center stuff before. All right, Microsoft AI Mustafa Suleiman has extolled the virtues of playing second fiddle in the generative AI race. In a TV news interview last week, Suleiman argued that it's more cost-effective to trail frontier model builders, including OpenAI, that has taken billions from Windows giant by 3 to 6 months, and build on their success than to compete with them directly. In the interview, it's exactly what we just looked at over. Yeah, which is what we just read. It's like, he said that why build models that OpenAI is building when we could just use them. And I think they're also implying that OpenAI, when they release a model, they already have a model. I guess if they release a model and that's 3 to 6 months behind what their current behind the scenes model is, or I'm explaining this poorly, but when they release a model, it seems like they always have another model 3 to 6 months ready, like that's ready to release in 3 to 6 months, because they're assuming that when they release the model, then Microsoft gets access to it, and then they're already 3 to 6 months behind because they're now training their next model, or they have it ready to release in 3 to 6 months. And that tracks because in the AI 2027 report that we looked at last week, they also assumed that most other companies are 3 to 6 months behind OpenAI. Our strategy is to play very tight second given the capital intensiveness of these models, he told CNBC on Friday. In addition to being cheaper, Solomon said the extra time enables Microsoft to optimize for specific customer use cases. Yeah, in other words, making products. While the strategy might seem unusual for a corporation at the beating heart of the Gen AI movement, it reflects the position in which Microsoft, and now Solomon, finds itself. See, and I think though, like long term, Microsoft still wants to make their own AI models. I still hold to that. Like they do need to eventually start like taking seriously, make them training their own. I don't think competition wise it's smart for Microsoft, because all other big tech companies will be doing their own. I think there is some cost effectiveness to do that once we figure out a way to like easily make like monetize it. And it seems like Microsoft is kind of just waiting. I'm sure behind the scenes they're figuring it out, but like they could just use the profits that they're making now while OpenAI is doing all the heavy lifting and money spending for them to just make products, to then use those profits, which are likely much more, to train their own models eventually. So it's like they actually don't really even need to pay that much out of pocket besides expanding like data centers and stuff, which they're gonna do anyways. They've already planned that out, and they likely needed to do that anyways. Okay. As you recall, Solomon made a name for himself as the co-founder of DeepMind, which was acquired by Google in 2014. Solomon joined Microsoft last year after a brief stint as CEO of Inflection AI. While his former employer at the Chocolate Factory, what are they calling it? Is competing directly with the likes of Anthropic and OpenAI to build ever more capable and feature-rich models, Microsoft has yet to launch a frontier model of its own. Instead, Redmond's strategy is closely tied to OpenAI, to which it furnishes a not inconsiderable amount of Azure Cloud Compute in exchange for the right to use startup's GPT family models in its growing suite of Copilot branded AI services. Yeah, I assume that, I know before, like when OpenAI invested in, or when Microsoft invested in OpenAI, they actually invested, and the way they like, instead of giving them cash, they gave them Azure Compute credits. I imagine OpenAI is probably paying for some now, and it's not like free. Because we did cover on stream how, you know, OpenAI needed a lot more compute. Microsoft didn't have that, so Microsoft gave them the option, saying that if Microsoft couldn't fulfill their compute, the compute they need, that they could go to other providers. Hence, them buying at CoreWeave. Hence, the Stargate project. So I imagine that Microsoft making money now and not just like giving them free GPU space. But I guess they could still make money if they're, you know, based on the products they make from the GPU, from their models and using them. The relationship may well explain Solomon's approach. There's not much sense in investing the massive quantities of capital necessary to build frontier models that may or may not be successful in the market when your buddy Sam Altman over at OpenAI will do it for you. Having said that, Microsoft isn't putting all its eggs in one basket. While the GPT series is at the heart of many familiar Windows and Microsoft Cloud Copilot services, it's not the only model collection out there. The Excel giant notably develops a line of permissively licensed small language models under the Phi codename. Yeah, this is what I was mentioning earlier. Compared to something like GPT 4.5, these models are minuscule, usually weighing in the single to double-digit billion parameter range, making them appropriate to use on edge devices, including laptops, as opposed to multi-million-dollar GPU clusters. The models have also generally lagged behind OpenAI's top-tier offerings in terms of features, such as multimodality or mixture of expert architectures. Yeah, but even considering, comparing it to OpenAI's top offerings isn't necessarily fair because of the fact that they don't really need these insane models to answer most of what Copilot probably is used for too. And so supports them a lot better, I feel like, until they need the frontier ones. I still think that they're gonna want frontier ones. I'm still on that train eventually. In this Vulture's personal experience, in Vulture, I think he's referring to himself because it's the register. Personal experience, Microsoft Fees family models are generally quite competent given their size, even if they don't tend to be all exciting feature-wise, relatively speaking. Yeah, and I agree with this. I used them for a little bit too, and I think they're fine. And their small size brings them certain advantages. At 14 billion parameters, Fee 4, for instance, can operate on a single high-end GPU while maintaining acceptable generation rates. This makes these neural networks comparable to cheap to run next to models several times larger, which often require multiple GPUs, if not GPU servers, to achieve acceptable performance. A precursor to self-sufficiency. While Solomon might not be interested in competing directly with OpenAI or Anthropic at any time soon, Microsoft's reliance on OpenAI may not last forever. It's absolutely mission critical that long term we are able to do AI self-sufficiently at Microsoft, he told CNBC. But while Fee 5, I think it's Fee, may be a precursor to achieving this goal, it appears Redmond's tie-up with OpenAI will last at least another 5 years, until 2030 at least. We are deeply partnered with OpenAI, who have had an enormously successful relationship with us. I wonder if this is contractual or if he just thinks AGI will be invented by then, and so that's when the contract will probably be up. Solomon downplaying concerns over Microsoft's relationship with OpenAI follows the Superlabs Stargate collaboration with Oracle and SoftBank, which was announced last year. As part of that deal, Microsoft was no longer OpenAI's exclusive cloud partner. However, it should be noted that Microsoft isn't the only one playing this game. Several other cloud providers have found success in the follow the leader strategy. Amazon Web Services arguably falls directly in this camp. AWS is heavily invested in OpenAI rival Anthropic, which contributes to an astronomical amount of compute, such as its Project Rainier cluster announced back in December. Yeah, because I think Anthropic, in order to accept some of Amazon's investment, they had to exclusively use AWS as their cloud computing provider, but Amazon didn't really have as many GPUs as Anthropic necessarily needed, and so it's kind of sucked. But everyone's building out data center capacity. It's going to take a while to get there. At the same time, AWS has quietly been building a family of language models of its own, codenamed Nova. Yeah, actually, we did take a look at this on stream the other day. I forgot. However, unlike Microsoft, AWS appears to be keeping a tighter leash on its project. Nova is proprietary, while Microsoft's Fee models are MIT licensed and freely available on model hubs, including Hugging Face. Yeah, but I think this is kind of how you gain, because if we're thinking about Microsoft not really taking OpenAI's work and just using that to make money, there's not really much money in selling these cheaper models. So it's might as well just release it free, gain some developer good grace, or get people to actually use the models and enjoy them, and so they want to use the next ones, and then they might offer hosting or some shit. I think that's I think it's good. AWS is less, Amazon as a whole is more of a conglomerate, and AWS is more focused on like the actual cloud, like selling the cloud and not necessarily like making their own products. Like Copilot, they do have this Nova thing we looked at, but like I think that's just like, yeah, like it to test it out. And so it's in AWS's best interest to actually like have a model to license to sell on AWS, or Amazon to sell on AWS. And they also don't have an OpenAI. They have Anthropic, but you know, it doesn't seem like they have the same deal that Microsoft and OpenAI has. So like Amazon needs their own models unless they want to pay someone else to use theirs. But at that point, then it's like it's probably in their best interest financially to just make their own. That can also be the case that Chinese e-commerce and cloud giant Alibaba has enjoyed a similar strategy with its Qwen team. Yeah, and Qwen is out there for free too, or open model too. The Qwen family of models garnered considerable attention for many of the same reasons as Microsoft's Phi. Models were not necessarily groundbreaking technologically, often punch well above their weight class, achieve performance comparable with LLMs several times their size. Qwen's QWQ 32 billion preview made its debut in late November, a little over 2 months after OpenAI's O1 preview popularized the concept of thinking, aka reasoning models. It took another 3 months of polishing before Alibaba released the final model, 3 months after the O1 was finalized. Yeah. About 3 to 6 months behind, I guess. That kind of holds true. A similar argument can be made for DeepSeek. With the concept of reasoning language models confirmed, the Chinese AI startup could focus on iterating and optimizing the concept in order to vastly reduce the compute requirements of creating and running such a model. Yep. Okay, now we got a systems approach. Along with being cheaper, Solomon's strategy also means Microsoft can focus more on its energy on building applications in other systems around large language models rather than finding new ways to wrangle neural nets. Yeah, and I'm thinking about this more. OpenAI is fronting the cost of like the entire AI industry in several different avenues. Microsoft is just taking their models after they've paid to train and, you know, develop and do all the R&D for them. They're also in several lawsuits for using data to train AI models and they're arguing fair use, and that's probably going to set a precedent for other AI companies who are training models using data that they claim fair use, because if the judge deems this fair use, New York Times versus OpenAI, if that's fair use, then everything else is going to be fair use because this case will likely set a precedent. Like, they're figuring out regulation, although that is definitely in their favor and that is not necessarily like a downside, but they're fronting that cost. And they're doing this all with, like, they don't even make money. Yeah, and then eventually it's going to be the research that they do will likely be the bed of what Microsoft does to make their own frontier models eventually, which I think will probably be kind of soon. They're gonna want to start doing it. I guess that's what you get for being like the first mover in a market. But OpenAI has, you know, it is advantageous to OpenAI and its, you know, its own right. They're the largest AI company right now. Big tech. Okay. Well, a lot of attention has gone into the models themselves, as we previously discussed. Integrating them into enterprise systems in a way that's actually valuable can be a rather tricky proposition. And that's where Microsoft is. And that's why Microsoft is going to make money, though, from it, is because it is hard, you know? Any friction is a opportunity. Alongside its fee models, Microsoft has steadily pumped out research and software frameworks designed to make integrating these models easier and more compute efficient. For example, the IT Titan developed AutoGen, a framework for orchestrating multiple AI agents. Yes, they were. I tried this out, and they were one of the very like early on like agent frameworks, and Microsoft made that, and it doesn't require, you could use any model behind it, and this is probably a good example of them like on the software side making a product early on. Meanwhile, the last month, Redmond detailed its work on KBLAM. It's like Kablam, which aims to reduce the computation and complexity associated with extending a language's model's knowledge using structured data. And last week, Microsoft introduced VidTalk, an open source video tokenizer for converting video into tokens in order to make it easier for machine learning models to comprehend video content. So they're still pumping out like research stuff, which makes me think that they are still like, you know, kind of working on like frontier stuff behind the scenes. Let's read these comments. I like. Okay, what if OpenAI takes a pit stop, then droughts MS down the straight? Oh, right. Another way of saying second place is first loser. It's essentially euphemistic when you've brought a somewhat racist tricycle into the Grand Prix. What? Wait, what? I remember when the first loser strategy was called leapfrogging. At least that's what Sun called it in the early zeros when Microsoft overtook them. The plan was to hang back until the technology matured, then leapfrog into the lead. I see. He's saying that this is Microsoft's way of just saying, like, justifying them taking second place. What the fuck is this message? For a world of love, bug buggies, extraterrestrial transport. What the fuck? Not sure they need that somewhere. Okay. I could see this argument though, yeah. I could see that. Okay, let me check the check out BAFTA. Let me see if it's live. They are live. Let me make sure. We behind the baseball here while I get this set up. I need to find I need one that fits perfectly. This. All right, this is close enough. An ad. Refuse to show it on my stream. Let's go here. All right, I'm gonna get a drink real quick, and then we're gonna get ready for this. Let's go to special events. BAFTA Games Awards. I don't know why this like Games Awards, like the double S's, just seem interesting. Okay. situated. Hate that it shows. Good enough. Oh shit, I didn't realize that I'm cut off now. All right. Cool. I'm gonna be right back. Oh, look at this. Let me turn this down low. Boop. Okay. Most. This is the most influential video games of all times. I think there's a it's way too loud. There's a survey. I took it. I think I said I think I said COD 4 or something. I said Call of Duty because I think that's what really, although I grew up playing like PC games like Age of Empires and shit, like it's more so the community on Call of Duty that made me like think of it more of like a social activity or like playing with friends versus like having someone sit next to you. And I think it got a bunch of people who maybe didn't necessarily play video games in the like old school sense to like actually be interested in video games and the space in general. Now, in terms of like game development and such, like I feel like it's probably not as important, but that's kind of the value I saw. So let's see what other people said. So 21 is Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Yeah, when did, or 1997, is that when like the first GTA? No. Okay. Yeah, Skyrim. I can't believe Skyrim is actually this far down. I would think like in terms of like modern day, I guess all times, then yeah. Actually no, I feel like yeah, Skyrim's kind of a big one. Arriving the same year as Game of Thrones. That's crazy to think about. Bethesda Games 2's open world role-playing games, every bit as important in bringing high fantasy drama. Okay. Grand Theft Auto 3. Okay, shit. Dark Souls. Okay. Final Fantasy. Was it 7? No, never really played the Final Fantasy games, but understand their influence. Baldur's Gate 3. Wow. I mean, I could see this, but not the shit on like new games, but I feel like new games like are like don't have as much time sometimes to like be influential. I don't know. This seemed like a good game, but like, was it influential? World of Warcraft. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. To have Warcraft in here. I wonder if RuneScape will be in here. Metal Gear Solid. Shit. Pong. Alright, this is the old... Now we're getting to the old games. Tomb Raider. I guess Metal Gear is old. And World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy are old. Pong. Tomb Raider. Tetris. Alright, yeah, classic. The Sims. Okay. The Sims is an early one, yeah. Dang, bro, this is such a throwback. Honestly, like, The Sims' UI, for being how old it was, is pretty good. Like, if you think of the fact that, like, as a kid, I was able to figure out this fucking, like, UI like this. Like, I think that's pretty good for accessibility. This font, it looks like almost Comic Sans. And Will Wright in general is just very influential to games. Half-Life 2. Can't forget. Super Mario 64. Alright, now we're getting to the classics. Old classics. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? See, this is where it's like, it's just new, so it's just top of people's minds. Like, this game, I don't know. This game definitely seems good, but like, was it influential? I think it was just at the top of people's minds. Minecraft, okay. Classic, of course. I mean, Minecraft is definitely influential in my video game upbringing. It's like probably the game I have the most hours in. Maybe maybe RuneScape a close second. Actually, I feel like not even a close second. I think Minecraft by far I have the most hours in. That's how lead polls go. Useless results, yeah. I wonder Roblox will be on here. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Yeah, this one's a classic. Gotta have this. Half-Life. Alright. Super Mario Bros. There we go. What do we think is going to be number 1? Mario Kart or some shit. I bet it's a Mario game still, or Nintendo game at least. All right, it's number 2. Doom. Okay, okay. Well deserved. Well deserved. What could be number 1? You voted Doom? Yeah, I think that's a good one, especially FPS. Birth of the FPS. All right, number 1. What? BAFTA like struggling to justify this? Exactly. What the fuck is Shenmue? This is the most influential game of all time. Okay, I guess this is me being America centric, although I did say a Nintendo game would be number 1, which is Japanese, but Japanese had big influence on games, and the I don't know if this is like specifically Japanese, but you know, the Asian market, there's a billion people in China, you know, you have to think about. Okay, I think it's starting. But like, what the fuck? JRPGs are completely yeah, they're same. Octopath Traveler's like the only one. How, like how? It's surprised number 1 in some respects. It hell exists. JRPG is the only game allowed in hell. It's funny. Okay, looks like we're starting actually, so yeah, Shenmue, what the fuck? No Call of Duty games, which I was surprised. Not just because I voted that, but all right, we're starting. Oops. Oh. Fucking JRPG. How's the... Alright, I'll turn the volume back. Actually, it's probably quiet. Downloaded a bunch of new GIFs to add the other day. I found a bunch of old clippy ones. That was funny. Eventually, I'll make my own AI clippy that I could control on stream. Okay, let's actually look at the the awards while we're waiting, or like. The YouTube video is getting copyright claim. We could do shitty Fortnite dances. That's so good. That just while this is going on, it's fucking hard. That's actually not that hard to do. I could imagine you could just download fucking like, you know, like game engine, like dances from like a game engine, and just like and then just have apply it to a model that you've created. And then you could actually probably trigger things with an API, which you could use to like control via chat and stuff. Eventually, too many other random projects. I'm actually working on making a separate website for Brady's Brain, and I'm just gonna combine Technonomicon and everything. Like I'm like separating everything when it's just like I should all just be centralizing it all to focus on YouTube. Because I want to redo like my merch, my like hats. But I'm just gonna make it under like Brady's Brain. I want like a little brain on the front of the hat. Sweet, yeah. Yeah, I got bradysbrain.com, and everything's gonna be under that. 5 panels? Yeah, I get 5 panels. Do you have a brand of 5 panels you like? Yeah, what is it? I like Yupong. Yupong for dad hats is the best. That's what this is. This Yupong classic. These are the best dad hats.
I guess I better get some shut eye.
Who is this? Do we actually know who this guy's playing the guitar is? Weld MFG. Oh, 5. Oh, okay, 5 pounds. Yeah, okay, got it. I couldn't picture those, but I know the kind now. Oh, they also have crew necks. Their crew necks look good. They're like nice. Temple uses them.
Please welcome your host, Phil Wang.
Phil Wang. That's what I found. Okay, sweet. I'll see.
How about that for a way to start the show? Everyone give it up for Pereira Ap Gwyneth.
Oh, what a name.
And that was unbelievable. What a way to start the awards. An epic mashup there of pendulum tracks that have featured across 20 years of games. Well, hello, BAFTA
Was
Games
a
Awards
pendulum?
2025. How are you doing tonight?
Okay, I just turned it up here.
Wow. So wonderful to see everyone. I'm your host, Phil Wang. I'm a
Cool.
stand-up comedian and a gamer, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be back hosting this year. The BAFTA Games Awards is essentially a roguelike game for me. I come back again and again and have to do it all over from the start, but with the experience I gained from last time.
That's a
Although I do
good
have to
comparison,
find
actually.
where I died to get my gear back. At least that was my excuse to security earlier when I arrived naked. Yes, I'm back, and just like the Switch 2, I'm not noticeably better, but I did charge a lot more this time. I am only the standard edition of Phil Wang, I'm afraid. If you want to unlock elite level jokes, you will have to pay for the Phil Wang season pass. Sorry. Now, when I was writing this monologue, I swore not to write any hack video game jokes, and I promised myself I wouldn't rely on tired gaming stereotypes and out-of-date memes. But then I took an arrow to the knee, and I'm so sorry, just...
Okay. He's getting a little too.
Gasp of shock, great. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up on the island of Borneo. It's only ever me, and video games were an escape from my sense of isolation there. You know, it wasn't always easy. Due to my family's income level, I would have to play video games outside because we had a huge veranda, and Dad didn't buy that second TV for nothing.
I didn't get the.
As a child,
joke.
I was a boy gamer of color. Sorry, I had a Game Boy Color and an Advance. Thanks, Dad. The BAFTA Games Awards are 21 this year, 21 years old. We're finally old
Wow,
enough
actually,
to drink in America.
I didn't realize it was that old.
And old enough to have been...
That's what I was like. I was like, having pre-ordering a Game Boy. I was like,
In fact,
Is it a
2025
slave
is a
joke?
big year for gaming anniversaries. It's the 45th anniversary of Pac-Man. Yeah. I've always related to Pac-Man. I'm also a big yellow guy who eats everything in sight. Okay, that's your level.
Bro,
Plus, I'm always getting ghosted.
that's a borderline racist joke, let's be real.
And Gen Z
Or at least a
recognizes
race
why.
joke.
It
Kidding.
is also the 25th anniversary of the first Sims. How about that? I think playing The Sims taught a lot of millennials really warped lessons about adult life. Like that you'd own a house, that you get picked up for work in a Hummer, and that it's normal to be in a jacuzzi with your neighbors.
Oh, that
It's also 120
crazy.
years this year since GTA 6 was announced. Isn't that amazing? Maybe this century. The PlayStation turned 30 this year. 30. The PlayStation, doesn't that make you sick? The PlayStation is 30 years old. It's old enough for its football career to be over. You put Pro Evo in it now, it'll dislocate a knee and probably start a podcast. I love the original PlayStation. I actually had the Sega Saturn first, but the PlayStation just had more features. Like, for example, you could play games on it, and I just thought that was neat. Speaking of games, what incredible titles we have gathered here this evening. Animal Well. Helldivers. Still Wakes the Deep. These are all nicknames I have for my toilet, but they're also fantastic games that are nominated tonight. And what a year for games it has been. The titles released this year had us asking big questions. Like, there was a Helldivers 1?
It was like, when's the timeline of like the voting and stuff?
Speaking of Hell,
Or, like, games
Hellblade
released?
2 leads tonight with an amazing 11 nominations. Oh.
That's cool, actually.
Thanks, Jeff.
Halo guy.
Stikes are there. The voice of Halo. Yep, the voice of Halo multiplayer. Cheers. Thanks, Jeff.
Bro, it'd be so cool to get like a Brady's brain or something in that voice.
Thanks, Jeff. Cheers.
Bro, AI, could use AI.
Like I was saying, Hellblade 2 is nominated tonight. Set in a cold, barren, and inhospitable country, Thank Goodness You're Here is also nominated tonight. In Hellblade, voices are constantly whispering in your ear that you're not good enough and you'll never be able to achieve anything. What is this, my dad simulator? Thank Goodness You're Here is nominated tonight.
No, I didn't get that at first.
Wonderful game. Unfortunately, the team behind Thank Goodness You're Here couldn't be Thank Goodness You're Here tonight. Oh, no, wait, thank goodness you're there. The game is set in the
literally.
town of Barneswood.
They're like, can we laugh at this? We have permission to laugh.
Fictional Yorkshire town because it's sunny. Balatro is nominated tonight. Balatro is an incredible game created by just one guy who calls himself Local Thunk. No one knows who he is or what he looks like, but he's probably
Hate that
somewhere
woke
here
culture
tonight,
didn't hit BAFTA.
which means Local Thunks in your
Bro,
area
gamers,
right
bro. It's
now.
gamers. Alright.
Balatro is a famously Moorish game. Oh, my obsession really started to affect my life, you know. I started seeing that clown everywhere. In my dreams, in the reflections of bus windows, on my Switch when I was playing Balatro in the shower. But I'm clean now. That clown isn't on my back anymore. I'm free. No! Can everyone else see that? Is it just me? You don't control me anymore?
I need to
Can't
play
be, man?
Balatro. I need to get it.
Thanks, Ben. Still Wakes the Deep has 8 nominations tonight. Still Wakes the Deep is set in 1975 Britain and is developed by the Chinese Room, or as I call them, the Room. Still Wakes the Deep features some of the most horrifying creatures I've ever seen in a game. I couldn't even look at them. But
What is he
apparently that's just
talking
what
about?
British people look like in the 70s. So. Astrobot has 8 nominations. Right on. I love
Atomfall?
Astrobot. I have to say, Astrobot is the most
Oh.
fun and heartwarming
Astro.
piece of marketing for a multinational corporation I've ever played. I mean,
Literally, like,
although I did think the bonus level, we have to pause the game and tattoo Sony on your chest.
Yeah.
A bit much, but still a lot of fun.
it's funny.
Astrobot features loads of great cameos from iconic video game characters, but some definite omissions. Like Master
Atomfall,
Chief,
Great Britain, okay.
Bowser, Sonic, Clippy, the paperclip. Am I missing something?
Hey,
Also
Clippy.
nominated tonight are Lego Horizon Adventures, they'll be bricking it.
Funny guy.
Thanks, Jeff. Again, more sarcastic each time somehow. Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong is here.
Wait, relevant.
Black Myth Wukong, based on a 400-year-old Chinese novel, is nominated tonight for Best New Intellectual
Come on.
Property. Okay.
I can't find it.
Black Myth Wukong features 107 different bosses in total, making it the first AAA game where you play as a freelancer. The Wandering White is the worst, always wanting to circle back and touch base. It's like, leave me alone, Wandering White. Helldivers 2 is nominated. Helldivers 2. So fun.
Let's circle back on this.
You know, it's a really big year this year for the suffix ids. There's Helldivers 2 and the Terminids, Space Marine 2 and the Tyranids. My girlfriend's saying that she wants kids. It's been really scary. If you don't know, in Helldivers 2, you battle legion upon legion of space insects. This game is so full of bugs, Bethesda thought they made it. It's a bit gamble to end on that one, but I think it was juicy. I think it had a bit of fun in it. Well, how do you think that went, Jeff?
At first, I was like,
Touchable.
Yeah, damn right. Now, just before we start, we would like to thank our official games partners, EE, Epic Games, and PlayStation.
at first I was like, it's jokes or whatever, but this guy was funny. He was good.
Now, BAFTA, are you ready to unlock some achievements? Are you ready for your awards? Well, jump into my controller and let's fly to Trophy Planet, because it's BAFTA, baby. Okay, our first award is for audio achievement.
Right?
Yes, audio is vital to a game. When I first played The Last of Us, I couldn't tell where the zombie was, and then it clicked. Well, from the hit TV show The Last of Us, please welcome Gabriel Luna and Isabella Merced.
Who were they?
Anyone who's played an open world, a horror, or an adventure game, they all would know that
Well, also anyone who's played The Last of Us.
The Last of Us is a great game. Yeah, you make a good point. But anyone who's played The Last of Us knows that audio plays a huge
supposed to be a
part
joke?
in the atmosphere.
Whether it's a scream of a monster, the rustle of a tree, or some footsteps.
Oh, this is
in the
audio
distance,
achievement.
These pieces of audio design can terrify, delight, and intrigue in an instant. And this award celebrates those creators
Star Wars
at the very
Outlaws.
forefront of the craft.
Just all the big games, I guess.
The nominees for audio achievement are
Oh, they showed the nominees. All right. Never mind.
Audio achievement. Helldivers 2.
Like, are these games that came out in 2024?
Still Wakes the Deep. Animal Well.
I love like synthy sounding sounds kind of like this.
Astrobot.
I thought its eyes coming up like that was like its ball sack for a sec or something.
Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Hellblade's probably gonna win. It's all like the same games always usually nominated for all the same stuff. Or like all the same games just nominated.
Just come quietly.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Who are you?
Run.
Yuba Slop.
And the BAFTA goes to...
Astrobot.
Wow. Dude's wearing a kilt? Fuck yeah. Dude's wearing a kilt with a t-shirt and a blazer. Oh, this is my guy. Kilt and kimonos. Yeah, what a mashup. S tier outfit.
Thank you so much for this great award. I'm so happy. I dedicate this huge Jammer and all the members in Team Asobi and, of course,
Oh, my
our
clippy one's up. There we go.
composer, Kenny. Also, I like to express my gratitude to members of Noisy Clock, Kazumaka-san,
Astrobot.
and SI System Audio team for their great support. For the audio design of Astrobot, not only for the sound from the main speakers, but also for the one from controller, haptic feedback, and harmony of gameplay with visuals, every single function is worthy of note. With these features, we can have a magical experience like grasping sound in our hands. We'd like to welcome anyone who plays it and enjoys the journey with Astro and bots in the future. Thank you so much.
You know what I want? I want like a green screen thing or something that like it's like when people give thumbs up or claps in a Zoom. I want to be able to like show that on my stream. I don't know why I think it'd be funny. Just like as ironic.
Congratulations, guys. Now, it is notoriously difficult to get a brand new game off the ground. And let me tell you, as a creator of Tax Return, the VR experience, I know better than most. To present the award for new intellectual property, please welcome a talented voice actress who starred in everything from Overwatch to Apex Legends. It's Unjali Bhimani.
I think she played Samara. Or no, not Samara. Was that her name?
Creating a brand new intellectual property from scratch can be a
Was that Overwatch
daunting
character?
task. Quite often the people working on these projects are building from nothing but a creative spark, a dream, and have no idea whether they're hurtling towards unparalleled success or unmitigated failure. But still, they brave it. They soldier on, and thankfully the titles in this next category have all been resounding successes. Successes that we've all been lucky enough to enjoy over the last 12 months. The nominations for new intellectual property are...
Actually new.
New intellectual property. Black Myth Wukong. Animal Well.
Our Animal has to win one thing. Looks like a super villain. Yeah, like Cruella de Vil.
Balatro.
I'm rooting for Balatro too. Any indie game.
Thank goodness you're here.
Seems fun. ARPG.
You bring the police?
Still wakes the deep.
What is this? Game looks neat.
I can sort this, right? I just need time.
Don't you answer me back! You're fired. You hear me?
That was it?
And the BAFTA goes to Still Wakes the Deep.
Bro, it's called the Chinese Room, and all white people come up. Like what? Another guy in the kilt?
Okay, wow, that's amazing. I was sure BAFTA was going to win, so thank you for that, the jury. Yeah, I mean, it was a real labour of love, this game. Obviously, massive thanks and congrats to the development team, much of which are here with us this evening. Also, I must thank Sumo for supporting us, Secret Mode, our publisher, Game Pass team. Lots of people helped make this reality. And yeah, we're so pleased. Thank you so much.
I wonder if that's the dev of Balatro. It's a psychological horror game? Okay. Yeah, not really my speed. Yeah,
Now look,
I
playing
probably
games
won't.
on your own is great. But sometimes you just need a 12-year-old in Brazil to insult your mother's honor. And that's where multiplayer comes in. To present the award for multiplayer, please welcome actor extraordinaire Adam Pearson and presenter, also extraordinaire, Ali Plum.
Adam Pearson? I don't know if I know who that is. Another kill, bro? What is going on? Is there's some coordination?
There's nothing like gaming with friends. Friends that know you so well that you can finish each other's...
All together now. Sandwiches!
No! Best friends, the kind that have been there through the thick and the...
Even more thick!
Again, no.
I'm trying.
I know. Best friends, ones that you have such a strong bond with that together you are
Underwear.
That one makes no sense.
I'm very drunk.
Okay.
The nominees for multiplayer are...
Multiplayer. Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
What are...
Lego Horizon Adventures.
A lonely hero. Hunting
Oh, what?
machines all by herself.
Hello, we have friends, you know. Let's do this.
Right. A friendly hero. Hunting.
It looks cool. I mean, visually, it's neat, actually.
Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
I haven't played this one yet. $40K.
Super Mario Party Jamboree.
40K. Oh, did they say 40,000? I didn't even notice that.
Helldivers 2. Tekken 8.
I'm like Times Square. Imagine having like a UFC fight in Times Square. Like, that'd kind of be sick.
And the BAFTA goes to...
Helldivers 2.
Woo. Others 2 is probably, like, besides Call of Duty, the biggest game on there.
Wow, guys. Yeah.
I guess Super Mario.
Okay. Multiplayer means so much to me because to me games are about connecting people. Like when I moved down to across the world to Stockholm, which is not that far from my hometown, but anyways, games was the source of me being able to stay connected to my childhood friends, to my brother, to my family.
These guys look like Nordic.
That so many people have experienced Helldivers in the same way, and all the testimonials that we get from players saying like how they got back with their gaming group that they had 10
Viking,
15 years ago
Viking beer,
due to
orange
our
beers.
game is such an honor. And I want to thank, of course, the entire development team, of which many of us are here, but also to the team back in Stockholm, our amazing partners over at Mainframe that have helped us and supported us for 7 years, 11 months, and 26 days of development. And of course, all the other people that have been involved in the production of this game. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Now, the technical advances in gaming over recent years has been nothing short of mind-blowing. I'll sometimes forget I'm even playing a game until I remember I can't actually fly. And I'm not a tiny robot who lives in a controller. And I've already destroyed 3 of them trying to get inside. False advertising, Sony. Now, to present the award for technical achievement, please welcome the star of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the supremely talented Masumi!
Technical achievement. I would say, like, talk about, like, what it actually is that is an achievement.
Everything you see
or, like,
when
what
you
the technical achievement
experience
is.
a game is the result of the hard work and talent of a creative. These individuals push the technical capabilities of this industry to the limit, treating us to visual wonders that didn't seem possible just a few years ago. The nominees for technical achievement are
Technical achievement.
Oh, Tiny Glade.
Tiny Glade.
I'm rooting for them. Probably the only indie game.
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Super relaxing. Seems like it's a nice, chill, comfy game.
Astrobot.
Like, Astrobot could, like, it does seem fun. Like, it seems like a good, like, throwback
Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
platformer type. Like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. They're actually were all PlayStation.
Black Myth Wukong. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
Wow, that visually looks awesome. Wonder if it's like, it seems like it's just like a Dark Tide or Vermintide type of game.
the BAFTA goes to Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Open this small game, but
brought a sufficiently low-tech solution for remembering my speech for this. So, we are extremely honored to receive this award amongst some excellent nominees. We genuinely weren't that confident we were going to win.
This guy's like putting up here like, leave
so
time for me.
Game development is highly technical these days, across character tech, stage capture and cinematics, VFX, art, audio design, and more. As well as the code teams that have done an excellent job, but often an invisible job of supporting all of that.
True.
So this award is in recognition of the great work done by all of those disciplines in pushing their respective areas to new heights.
All of us at Ninja Theory, we have poured our heart and soul, sweat and tears into making these games. We couldn't have done it without the incredible support of our external partners, our friends, and most importantly, our families. This award belongs to all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sweet.
The great thing about modern gaming is that there's something for all ages. Whether it's your nephew solving a puzzle in Zelda, your sister discovering a planet in No Man's Sky, or your grandmother no-scoping noobs on Black Ops 6.
This is family.
She says it gives her flashbacks. I don't know what that means.
Nom flashbacks.
Its presenter, comedian, and podcaster, Susie Ruffle.
Yeah, grandma playing Call of Duty, getting nom flashbacks. Like, yeah, I like this guy too. Actually, is his name Ali Plum? Is that who it is?
Building a game that the entire family can enjoy is
Nope.
an incredible thing. There's nothing better than looking around a room full of people seeing different generations throwing their controller at the wall in frustration. It's beautiful. It turns out my Aunt Vera has got quite the arm on her. The nominees for Family Game are...
I love the double-breasted jacket.
Family. The Plucky Squire. Astrobot. Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah, this is probably the best family game. Any Nintendo game.
Lego Horizon Adventures.
I've got fabulous taste. Yeah, no, that's it. Always leave a place better.
And visually though, this game just looks so cool.
Cat Quest 3.
This is random.
Little Kitty, Big City.
Cool. That's a good game name. Double-breasted jacket is back.
And the BAFTA goes to... Astrobot.
Eh. Like, did we get up again? Like, what? 2 seconds. Be right back.
Thank you so much. First for the Academy for recognizing Astrobot for Family Game. It means the world to us making this kind of game. So first
It's
off,
like
actually
a-
go to the team in Japan, Team Asobi right now, they're sleeping right now, but they will be watching this tomorrow morning, so they're gonna have a blast. You're amazing, we love you. Kids from London. Making some family games for us, it's an amazing award because it was a way to reconnect generations through this game. The 30 years of PlayStation, people who grew up with PlayStation and playing with their kids today, and explaining them, the kids, the characters they come across and what they mean. And that generational bridge was something that meant a lot to us. It's actually really difficult to make a game that seems simple on the surface, but it's actually very complex underneath. So to all the Team Asobi members who made this possible, including you guys. Thank you so much, and thank you again for the BAFTA for recognizing us. Thank you.
I feel like they actually just never updated the title from last time. They're literally still in like talk shows and podcasts.
Now, sometimes this fantastic industry goes even further than entertainment. It can impact society and change the world around us. To present the award for Game Beyond Entertainment, please welcome one of the breakout stars of the hit game Kingdom Come Deliverance, is the incredible Tom McKay.
Game Beyond Entertainment, so it's like what, they've made like a movie or like other media out of the asset or like out of the IP.
Being part of this amazing community, I'm always blown away by the amount of people who talk to me about how our game and so many others have helped them through some of the most difficult and complex chapters of their lives. Certain games have the ability to change minds, attitudes, and in some cases, even society itself. Those titles don't just entertain us, they make us think. And they stay with us for a long time.
Has been making live action movies with the actors leading up to the release. Oh shit.
The nominees for Game Beyond Entertainment are...
What the? That's cool. Like skits and stuff? Oh, okay, that's neat. It's good like marketing too.
Tetris Forever.
Cool. Characters are modeled after the actors too. Dang. They're literally Henry Hansar. That's cool.
Senua's Saga.
World's 1-to-1 IRL. Oh, what the heck? That's cool. I didn't know that.
Would you give your life for these outsiders?
Kind Words 2, Lo-Fi City Pop.
Like a chill, cozy game.
I started to understand what a vampire could be.
Vampire Therapist.
We got all the time in the world to
This is
fix
interesting.
ourselves. And if we did, we could do a hell of a lot more than murdering and shopping for skin-tight leather.
Botany Manor.
Just thousands of years ago. Interesting spread of games.
And the BAFTA goes to Tales of Kanzera Zao.
I don't even remember seeing that. I zoned out. One dude, I know. It's like that's the case.
What? No, thank you so much. Oh, I'm shaking. I wasn't planning on winning anything today. No, thank you. I mean, this is one of those awards where it's really full circle. It's been a lot. And I'm really happy it was this category. There were really good games out there. You could tell I didn't prepare anything because I wasn't ready for this. But I do want to shout out to the people who really supported me through this journey. My family, my friends, the studio, EA. They paid me to say that. But this is really honestly to those, as I've said it before, to those that we have loved and lost. This is why we do this thing. This is why we make art. This is why we tell stories. Fucking hell. Thank you.
Yeah, I think sometimes like when like the big studios come up, you kind of forget like this is like art, you know, and like big studios kind of I don't know, remove some personality
While
from it. So
tonight is a
refreshing.
celebration of the games industry, we now take a moment to remember and honor those we have lost this past year. We pay tribute to their lives, their incredible talents, and the immense contributions they made to this art form we all love.
I thought that was Karl Marx for a second. Sorry, enough time to joking. 07's in chat. I guess. Someone asked in Twitch chat, what does 07 mean? In the BAFTA Twitch chat. PICQ? It's an interesting last name. Should have done this at the end. It kind of kills the vibe halfway through.
Their memory lives on in the work they created and the lives that they touched. And thanks to Peredur Ap Gwynedd for his beautiful track, Longing. Now, our next award is Animation. And to present it, please welcome two of the biggest names on Twitch. It's the brilliant Oliver Parsons and Anna Dimitriou.
Biggest names on Twitch. Never heard of these guys.
When you're in the game, it's easy to forget that every sword swing, every somersault, every picturesque sunset has been animated by an artistic genius.
These brilliant artists are responsible for some of the most jaw-dropping moments in our games and are at the forefront of creating the worlds that we all love spending time in.
The nominees for animation are...
Animation.
All right. Astrobot's winning, let's be real.
You want the truth? Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Or Hellblade.
Tell me to let go.
Yeah. Ooh, Omega lol.
The shadow will always hang over me.
Now, you gotta wait for that useless lobster.
Thank goodness you're here.
I hope this game wins.
You can start by getting on that mower.
Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
Fighting's everywhere but here. What you call this? These are leftovers.
Drop that beat, silence! Lego Horizon Adventures.
Cool new stuff.
Let's join Aloy as she embarks on an epic adventure.
Like, how did this game get so many like nominations? It just feels so random.
Ever do anything like this before?
No. But I don't see any better options and I'm running out of bullets.
And the BAFTA goes to
Astrobot.
Of course. Free wins for Astrobot. Yeah, it's just kind of like the big studios. Like, I don't know.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to receive this wonderful award here in BAFTA. First of all, I'd like to dedicate this to Jamie Smith, our lead animator, and all other animators in Team Asobi, who did a fantastic work. More than anything, if anyone, anywhere in the world has felt happiness and joy through our animations in Astrobot, it's the best gift to us animators. We are looking forward to creating more attractive and fun animations in the future. Thank you very much.
Bro, PlayStation's like a title sponsor to BAFTA. Like, it just sometimes now it's kind of just like whatever.
Britain. Britain, Britain, Britain. Home of parliamentary democracy and the Freddo. Where would we be without Britain? Right now, we'd all be in the sea. And all these electronics would be ruined. Makes you think, doesn't it? Britain punches well above its weight in game development. We have more gaming talent on our shores than you could shake a Morris dancer at. Although please don't try that, they bruise very easily. To present the award for British Game, please welcome actor and writer, it's World of Warcraft's Queen Talanji herself, Susan Wakoma!
I didn't even think about this. Is probably in Britain. It's like the British,
For a small
right?
island, we managed to consistently produce some of the most brilliant and creative games the industry has ever seen. Games that delight, games that thrill, and games that show off the varied and diverse culture that Britain has to offer. The nominees for British Game are...
British Game. Want you home, the girls want you home. Still wakes the deep. If you don't deal with this, then we're done for good. I love you, but I won't wait forever. Paper Trail.
British culture. Just kidding. British culture.
By belting, he said.
A Highland song.
And I'm doing it. I'm coming.
British food is dog shit, alright? I don't care what anyone says.
Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
All their good food is like
There's something here.
it's not British.
Find out what it is.
Kind of similar to America in a way.
Thank goodness you're here.
So, do you come here often?
Lad! You better get your son into here now.
Is every game a British game? Like, how do they determine if it's a British game? Like 20% of it's developed in Britain. Fucking.
And the BAFTA goes to... Thank goodness you're here!
Yeah, I know. I think it's because it's BAFTA's British, right? It's like the British. I don't know what BAFTA stands for. It's like British. British Academy of Film and Television Arts, so I guess that makes sense.
I feel fine. Do you feel fine?
I feel really normal.
I feel the most normal I've been all week. Quick game of Balatro, hang on. I've got some Family Guy up in here. It's a great honour to be
Big
here,
game of
to be
Balatro.
recognised by our peers in the academy. To go from a stupid idea we had one weekend all the way to this stage is quite literally really nice.
It's been such a privilege to be able to make this game true to our vision and hopefully true to our hometown without any compromises. And for that we have to thank our publisher, Panic, and we'll be forever grateful that they took a gamble on us years ago for what was functionally an hour of inside jokes.
Thanks to everyone who helped us make the silly game, the porting and PR team, our wonderful sound and music team, our fantastic animators we worked with, the cast of talented voice actors, and of course thank you to the translators who had the inevitable job of making our many penis jokes funny in a dozen languages.
Me and James reflected often on what it's all about. One thing we're pretty committed to is that the central thesis of Thank Goodness is that the lives of the people in communities like ours are important and their stories are worth telling. And to the kids growing up in Barnsley and towns like it, we hope that in some
Sweet.
small way,
Catch you later. Appreciate you tuning in.
to tell your story with your own voice and without compromise.
Do an evening stream tomorrow, so I'll be starting stream later. Tomorrow, probably around 6.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
so much.
Thank you for all of the team.
Appreciate you showing up, hanging out. Alright, what's next?
Gaming is our time's greatest storytelling art form. If Shakespeare were alive today, he would be writing games. Is this a dagger which I see before me? Then let me use the D-pad to cycle through my weapons. Methinks me want the flamethrower. To present the award for narrative, please welcome the most famous vampire in all of Western Faerun, Neil Newburn.
What? Who's dressed like a vampire too? Let's be real.
Before I drop it. Very good. Okay, great. The best games guide you.
This dude's like a knockoff Johnny Depp.
Memory-making narratives with untold twists, turns, and everything. Not to mention sometimes liberal use of the word darling.
Bro, this.
Good. Some people love. Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. These experiences leave us fans. No doubt this industry is one of the best ways to experience stories. The nominees for narrative are
Narrative.
You have found a way to wield true magic.
Metaphor. Refantasio.
You must acquire more archetypes and bring them together.
No holding back!
You wield power now.
Neat. Haven't played it, not my game, but
Dragon Age. The Veilguard.
actually, yeah, or I guess Dragon Age. The new Dragon Age came out this year, but that is something we haven't really seen, like a big AAA game in any of these.
Still wakes the deep. Wish you hadn't got yourself into this mess, but you did.
Game already looks very has a good narrative, very atmospheric.
Can you run forever? Black Myth Wukong.
Like, Souls games have good world building, but not really like narrative first.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
And only to appear when the planet is in grave danger. Who dares disturb my slumber? It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge.
He was lost. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. You brought him here. Now he can rest. Rest now.
And the BAFTA goes to Metaphor ReFantasia.
The RPG. I makes sense though. I can feel like the RPG is a good narrative. It is a role-playing game after all. Yeah, he's like, okay. 2 hands. Hey, what's up, Seth VTuber? Watching the BAFTAs.
It's my gorgeous memo. Thank you so much.
Pulls out a
for
book
this
for a
amazing
speech.
award. I'd like to thank BAFTA on behalf of Atlas and the Metro team. With Metro ReFantasio, we wanted to create a new fantasy world that reflected modern values. Through Metro ReFantasio,
How many Metaphor games have there been? Doing good, chilling, just watching the Game Awards here. How's your day going?
If you face your fears, you can change the future. We couldn't be happier if, in these turbulent times, this story can give courage to those who played. Thank you again to everyone who has supported and played Metaphor. We hope to continue delivering entertaining stories that only others can create. Thank you very much.
Cool. Alright, what's next?
Ever since I first saw Bob Hoskins take on a Goomba in the mid-90s, I've loved seeing games cross over into TV and film. And nowhere has this been more successful than the Netflix smash hit set in the world of League of Legends, Arcane. Well, tonight we have something really special. I'm thrilled to announce that internationally gold-certified singer-songwriter Freya Ridings will be performing her seminal track from the opening credits of the show on this very stage.
Whoa.
Freya is an immense talent with over 1 billion streams and 47 gold and platinum.
Don't know if I know who they are.
She's amassed fans amongst everyone from Taylor Swift to Florence Welch, and her hauntingly beautiful music is the perfect companion to Arcane. So, citizens of Piltover, with her debut live performance of the unforgettable track I Can't Hear It Now, it's my great honor to introduce to the stage the fabulous Freya Ridings.
Who's this? Oh, this is okay. So it's from the League of Legends game. I see. On streams. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick while this is going. Okay, I don't want to get copyrighted. Already probably am from YouTube. But okay, what do we have left? Game design. Hopefully like Helldiver, or I mean Animal Well or Balatro, and any game gets game design. Music, we just did narrative. And then we have these two. Bro, there's still so many. Artistic achievement. They're like all the same. It kind of sucks. Best game movie last. So why is BAFTA in the talk shows and podcast?
Thank you to Freya Ridings for that beautiful performance. For 21 years, BAFTA has been celebrating the incredible craft and creativity in the games industry, breaking down the negative and false stereotypes that still haunt the sector. BAFTA are working towards a future in which everyone, regardless of their background, can grow up in the knowledge that a career in the screen arts is a realistic option for them. The payoff is undeniable. Better representation, richer storytelling, and a culture that remains relevant, and frankly, a lot more fun for generations to come. To everyone here tonight who has helped BAFTA achieve this over the last 21 years, thank you. And talking about 20-something-year-olds, we'd also like to give a big shout-out to our official co-streamers on Twitch. Cyborg Angel, Thorla, Twoozy, Frankie Ward, Airy Summer, Multiplayer IT, Stream with Lian, and Easy Allies.
Bootleg BAFTA stream here. Official bootleg stream.
Now, I'm sure we're all eager to get on to the next category. So evolution is vital in
Official, non-official.
taking an old IP and refreshing it for newer generations.
Bootleg.
Doctor Who, and whatever they did to Shrek's face. To present the award for Evolving Game, please welcome presenter, radio host, and YouTuber, it's the fabulous Els.
Thank you, Phil. Creating a successful game.
Official, non-official BAFTA Games Awards.
Reinventing that same game year after year so that it continues to entertain its users in the same way it did as when they first played it. Now that really takes something special. The nominees for Evolving Game are...
Like Evolving Game's like an online service game. It seems like a game like.
Diablo 4.
Which, this is to please the corporate overlords a little bit. Let's be real. But they're culturally relevant, I guess, since they're kind of always around.
Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves been around for so long. Diablo 4, like, I don't know, that one's just like whatever. No Man's Sky.
Final Fantasy 14 Online.
Oh, come on, an MMO? I guess Diablo's an MMO. Oh yes, I'm rooting for Vampire Survivors.
World of Warcraft.
WoW doesn't need to win anything else. Like, they're already a famous game.
And the BAFTA goes to... Vampire Survivors.
Yes! Let's go. I'm glad they won. Not even here. Oh, they are here. Sweet. I thought it was like a single person that developed it. Good for them, though. I'm glad they won it.
Wow. Hello, everyone. Morning, Matt. This is incredible. It's a great honor to accept this award on behalf of the whole team at Poncle. We wouldn't be standing here today without the incredible
I didn't realize they were British either.
both behind Vampire Survivors and the team as a whole, a lot of which are here today, and we've still got a lot of the team at home, so hi to everyone watching. We'd also like to congratulate all of our fellow nominees, some amazing games in there, and thank you to our partners as well, who very kindly entrusted us to capture the magic of their IPs within our game. Thank you as well to all of our fans across every platform that you play on, and as well to the Academy for bestowing to us another one of these very heavy golden heads. Thank you, everyone.
They've won before. Dang, 2-time winners. Good for them.
Now, the supporting characters in games are often as important as the main ones. Don't believe me? Try imagining Mario without Luigi, or Sonic without Tails, or Lemming 72 without Lemming 73. You can't do it. To present the award for performer in a supporting role, please welcome the sharpest shooter in all of Piltover. It's Arcane's Katie Leung.
All right.
The joy of playing a character like Caitlin in Arcane is you get to appreciate how important every single character is to an ensemble. Performers are like a house of cards, and without each and every one of us pulling together, the whole thing comes crashing down. And nowhere is that showcased more than in the talented and creative performers in this category. The nominees for performer in a supporting role are
Performer in a supporting role.
Oh, you've come just in the nick of time.
John Blythe.
I came in as usual, opened up shop, counted till, went to make my first buy of the day, and then I realized we've no meat. I can't make a pie without meat. It's the second most important ingredient.
We opened our doors.
Looks fun.
Aldous Ama Hamilton. De nästa fotbollsklubben. The Björk grew more demanding.
It's hard for her to say.
Little by little, this settlement became my tribe.
Should we no find him, help him?
No, I recommend that.
What does that mean?
It means he's no alright.
Karen Dunbar.
After that explosion, they got oil, some shite on him, and just, I don't know, he freaked out, went for me. He's still out there.
You mean out here? As in out here with me?
Aye, that's exactly what I mean.
Abby Greenland and Helen Golan.
Your voices. All parts of you that are broken. You can be whole. All the grief, all the rage, all the fear.
He's like dramatic.
Matt Berry.
What the devil's gone into you, man? I never even mentioned your massive head. Yeah, it isn't massive. Crying out loud, Rog. There's no shame in it.
What is this game? This game is kind of fun.
Did you get Gregor? I got you, aye. I couldn't find Gregor.
Michael Abubakar.
Jesus. Not the only
Like kind of just the same 3 games.
Oh, no, no. Russ is still in there. Why aren't these working? Kaz, I need you to help me. Kaz!
Help me.
And the BAFTA goes to Karen Dunbar. Still wakes the deep.
Nice. Cool glasses. Love the green.
completely overwhelmed. I'm not even an actor, I'm a gynecologist.
That's so funny.
I'm an actor. I'm a Scottish actor.
Oh.
I've been nominated for many a Scottish BAFTA and never won one. And yet here I am in the gaming community. Thank you so much for this.
Was that like a slide at British? At the fucking Brits?
I can't remember who I have to thank, I'll be honest with you. It's taking me, these earrings are very heavy. Thank you to Secret Mode, to Subo. Thank you so much to Kate Saxon as well, brilliant director. And to Alec Newman, the fantastic lead in this brilliant, brilliant game. Fun. Thank you also to my wonderful agent, Belinda Wright, and to my friends who, without a shadow of a doubt, I would not be alive. Thank you to them, and thank you to Scotland! I fucking won!
Funny. Like, wonder what's back there. He's like, whoa.
Strong use of language there. Not my favorite joke, that one, but I have to say sometimes. Now, I love art. A painting, a sculpture, an NFT of a penguin.
Is that a Scottish joke too?
My house to buy. I love art and penguins. Tell you who else loves art? Your presenter for artistic achievement. Not only has she starred in Mythic Quest, she's artfully co-created the new spin-off, Side Quest.
Oh, cool.
And she's Aloy from Horizon. Is the one and only Ashley Birch.
Mythic Quest is actually a, like, if you're into video game like industry culture and stuff, it's actually a fun show.
As a gamer, you encounter certain moments where you just have to sit back and appreciate what's been created. Marvel at the artistic skill that it must take to conjure up a perfect, realistic sunset, or an intense, powerful flashbang, or the incredibly detailed inside of some sausages. I'm looking at you, thank goodness you're here. And the list of nominees in the next award excel at producing those kinds of moments. The nominees for artistic achievement are...
Maybe it's the same. It's kind of getting boring at this point. Like Astrobot, Hellblade.
Saga, Hellblade 2.
It's like every big gaming award thing, though.
Harold Halibut.
All right, something new. It's like claymation.
Black Myth Wukong.
Bitrate's taking a shit right now.
Still wakes the deep.
This one doesn't have as unique of art style as the rest. Like, here we go. This one's cool. Someone's cooking something good. I'm getting smelling it. Here's Astrobot.
Astrobot.
And the BAFTA goes to... Neva.
Woo.
Wow, it's heavy. Shit. Wow, I really don't believe it. Well, first of all, thank you to the jury, thank you to the Academy. This is really an honor. All of our team always believe that video games are a form of art, and this recognition actually is a proof of it. I would like to just thank the Devolver team. They have been with us forever, since the beginning. I really thank you. And the award is for the whole team at Nomada Studio.
Glad to see a Devolver game.
But particularly for the
win something.
Conrad, Ari, Raquel, Pau, all of them, they are the best. Thank you. And basically, I would like to thank everybody that helped us to create this beautiful game, and particularly our friends and our family, and to all the players, of course. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Now, a badly designed game is like a badly designed cake. Sure, I'll still spend all night consuming it, but I won't feel good about it, and I'll go to bed very sweaty. Thankfully, these games in this category have all been impeccably designed. To present the award for game design, it's the man, the myth, the Hogwarts legend, Matthew Lewis!
What the heck? Oh, I thought there was a different Matthew Lewis. It's fucking Neville. Dude, he's old now.
There's nothing better than a well-designed game. These are the titles that constantly keep you guessing, consistently delight and excite, and have you on the edge of your seat from the very first click of new game. So the nominees for game design are...
Game design. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
I would not expect this game in there. Yeah. I feel like roguelites are kind of like... There's a lot of design to go into it because of numbers and stuff, so I feel like they kind of... have kind of my vote. I just like the aesthetics of this game. I swear if Astrobot wins, I swear. Oh. Yeah, this... Oh, okay, I'm rooting for these guys, too. I hope they win, actually. Or Balatro.
And the BAFTA goes to... Astrobot.
Bro. Fucking Astrobot wins for best game design?
Thank you so much. This is great honor. Astrobot game design is mix of many things: the art, sound, effect, and technology, magic, and history of PlayStation and its legends. With everyone's help, it became a crystal of joy. So I want to say thank you to everyone and to all the players. Thank you for playing. Thank you.
Bro, they did, no offense, but like... Astrobot, they've won like 10 awards already, like...
The debut game category features the first games released by 6 exciting new developers. Think of these developers as first-time parents, if babies were downloadable on Steam.
Probably
to present the award
ended
for
after
debut
this.
game, please welcome the stars of the hit TV show Borders. It's Jodie Campbell and Aruna Jallow.
Oh, Jodie Campbell, I've heard of that. Borders, though, I haven't. I mean, this is like British, so I think it's like probably more relevant to them.
Nothing compares to the excitement of seeing a debut game smash its way into the industry and cause everyone to sit up and notice.
And the very best of these brand new titles are usually innovative, fresh, and quite often shake up the industry for years to come. The nominees for the debut games are
Debut game. Animal Well.
I hope Animal Well wins. I've been saying that. Win anything.
Thank goodness you're here.
Hold on, what's all this about then?
Ooh, come on, come on, come on! Oh, hey.
Pacific Drive.
This game looks neat too. Bro, please Balatro 2. I want any indie game to win anything.
The Plucky Squire.
Game looks neat.
Tales of Kinzera Zhao.
This one won something before.
And the BAFTA goes to
Balatro.
Yeah! Especially considering what he wore.
This is weird, isn't it? Yes, it's me, that weird live-action Jimbo from the Balatro commercial. For those of you who aren't chronically online, this might be a rather confusing and at first glance, suspiciously arousing moment. But don't worry, it's perfectly natural. Don't fight the feeling. Jokers have full sex now. But wait, Ben didn't make that game. Why's he up here, I hear you say, like a loser? And yeah, you may have a point, but also, screw you a little bit, that hurts my feelings. And so what if my only contribution to Balatro was that trailer and a bit of sucking on a banana for a few seconds? But I ask you this, isn't selling stuff nice? What is art in 2025 but a thinly veiled vessel of ruthless commercial self-interest through which rich people try to make even more money? And I can say, having met him personally, Local Funk is really rich now. He has shoes made of gold and he thanks you for making him that way. He says
That's
here at
funny.
the bottom, he wishes he could thank more people, but if he's being honest, it was just him who made it. Everyone else is a freeloader. Especially you, PlayStack. Oh, and play more independent games like Animal Well. They are the lifeblood of this industry.
Woo, yeah.
And they deserve your respect. Thank you very much.
That's funny, but also true.
The Fellowship Award is BAFTA's highest honor and is awarded to someone whose contribution to the industry is not only exceptional, but in this instance, iconic. To present this year's BAFTA Fellowship Award, please welcome to the stage composer and co-founder of The Chinese Room, Jessica Curry.
Of course, they got to carry out their previously won award.
The BAFTA Fellowship Award
award is the highest honour that our institution can bestow. And so it takes a special person to be considered for it. A person of immense talent, of incredible skill, and with a legacy that is unrivaled in their field. Which is why it feels so natural to be honouring Yoko Shimomura with this year's award. Yoko Shimomura is quite simply one of the greatest and most influential composers our industry has ever been lucky enough to have. Her powerful and iconic scores have spanned decades, and for many of us are the soundtrack
music.
to our entire gaming lives.
Sweet. All right, I'm gonna end it here. Not in the middle of the speech, but yeah. Tomorrow's gonna be an evening stream. I'm probably gonna stream around 6 p.m. PST, and we're gonna go over a report or something. We'll do some news, and then we'll do a report. So, I appreciate everyone showing up today and hanging out. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow in the evening, 6 p.m. PST, West Coast Pacific time. So, appreciate everyone showing up, tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow. See ya.